Grand Army of the Republic, also known as the Clone Army, was a significant branch of the Galactic Republic military composed entirely of clone troopers before and during the Republic's transition into the Galactic Empire. It was an army of elite soldiers cloned from a genetically altered template of a legendary bounty hunter of the time, Jango Fett. 52 years before the Battle of Yavin, a Jedi Master named Sifo Dyas, accompanied by other Jedi leadership, went to a meeting on the world of Sereno. After 4 hours of debate during this session, a brief recess was called, and Hugo Damask confronted the Jedi. In reality, Damask was the cover for the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Plagueis. Damask aired his concerns for the future of the Republic, and both Sifo Dyas and fellow Jedi Dooku responded to this with their own separate concerns. Sifo Dyas was quite stern with his answers and reluctant to agree with what both Dooku and Damask seemed to agree on. Sometime after this, Sifo Dyas and Dooku were present at the Senate building and met Senator Palpatine of Naboo. In reality, Damask's Sith apprentice and Dooku's future master, Darth Sidious. Then in 32 BBY, a gathering was hosted by Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Senate, Finis Valorum, on Coruscant. Jedi Master Sifo Dyas was in attendance alongside Jedi Master Yoda, Mace Windu, Eddie Gallia, and Horos Kobath. Once again at this gathering, Hugo Damask approached Sifo Dyas, and once more he openly admitted that there is a growing darkness that was approaching, as he stated to the Jedi 20 years before on Sereno. Sifo Dyas agreed with Damask's claim, and Damask informed him of cloners on Kamino that could grow him an army and hold it in reserve until it was needed. The Jedi Master was at first skeptical of this, but was persuaded to think about it. Not long afterward, Sifo Dyas approached the Kaminoans with the request of a clone army for the Republic. With the funds provided by Damask, Sifo Dyas paid the Kaminoans. At around the same time, Sifo Dyas was contacted by Supreme Chancellor Finis Valorum, who knew of the Jedi Master's experience of the criminal underworld and gave him a secret mission to negotiate with the Pike Syndicate of Obadiah. Because the Senate committee assigned to the Pike case wanted to keep negotiations between the galactic government and a criminal organization strictly under the table and away from the public eye, Sifo Dyas did not inform the Jedi Council of his mission. It was around that time that Dooku resigned from the Jedi Order and fell to the dark side of the Force, joining the Order of Sith Lords as Darth Tyrannus, apprentice of Darth Sidious. Little did Sifo Dyas know that Sidious and Dooku had learned of his ordering of the clone army and planned the steps to his demise. The first test provided to Dooku by his new Sith Master was to murder his old friend Sifo Dyas. In doing so, he would fulfill the ancient covenant that prescribed the murder of one who was close as a measure of commitment to the Sith cause. By executing the man, Dooku would gain full control of the project for the Sith, using Sifo Dyas as a cover. Seeing that Dooku had embraced the dark side, Sidious awarded him with the Sith name and title of Darth Tyrannus. Sifo Dyas arrived in Obadiah together with Valorum's personal assistant Silman. Still, the secret Pike Republic talks were postponed, as the Jedi Council contacted Sifo Dyas and assigned him a mission to negotiate peace talks between jungle Felucian tribes on Felucia. However, the two men never reached their destination as Tyrannus contacted the Pikes. The Syndicate, wishing to gain an advantage over rival crime families, struck a deal with Tyrannus, who paid them a considerable sum. By Tyrannus' orders, the Pikes shot down Sifo Dyas' Jedi T-6 shuttle over Obadiah. The ship crash-landed on the planet's desert moon. As proof of the fulfillment of their deal, the criminals recovered the Jedi's corpse from the wreckage. They turned it over to Tyrannus, taking Silman, who had survived, prisoner as insurance. Sifo Dyas had been betrayed and killed by his old friend, but the cloning project still stood, so Dooku carried on where Sifo Dyas left off, until he had been silenced. Sifo Dyas had kept the project a secret. To ensure that it stayed secret, Dooku erased all records of the planet Kamino from the Jedi archives, along with 37 additional systems, including Dagobah and Dormund, that Sidious had judged would be of potential value to the Sith. This all being done after having publicly renounced and left the Jedi Order. Darth Sidious then also asked Tyrannus while recruiting a template for the Grand Army of the Republic's clone troopers, one that was capable of slaying Jedi. Resolving to complete both missions at once, he placed an extravagant bounty of 5 million Republic credits on Korma Vosa. He pitted some of the galaxy's most fiercest bounty hunters against each other to kill or capture her. In the end, the Mandalorian Montrose and Jango Fett faced each other on Kolma, a moon of Bogdan. Jango Fett triumphed over his long-hated rival Montrose, although he needed some assistance from fellow bounty hunter Zam Wessel to escape after being briefly captured by the Bangdo Gora. In a brutal fight, Fett subdued Koma Vosa and captured her alive. However, Dooku was also on Koima and observed the battle in secret. He threw his former apprentice with the Force and then revealed his presence to the surprised Jango Fett. Fett demanded payment but was intrigued at Dooku's offer of greater wealth if he helped to create and train a clone army. At a later meeting, Dooku and Jango Fett addressed the history that lay between them. Distrusting Dooku because of his Jedi past, Fett attempted to extort further confessions out of him by infecting him with a biological weapon. The Sith Lord pretended he was defeated and convinced Fett to tell the rest of his tale. While Fett spoke, Dooku healed himself with the power of the Force. Finding his leverage suddenly null, Fett agreed to be cloned with the condition that he would receive the first clone unaltered for his own use. Over the next decade, the Prime Minister of the cloning world of Kamino, Lama Su, and his scientists developed the first generation of clone troopers, all based on the genetic code of the bounty hunter Jango Fett. Aside from his role as a template, Fett also assisted Lama Su as an advisor, and the two closely monitored the training of the clones. During the development phase of the clone army, Lama Su ordered the cloners to heavily modify the clone subjects in accordance with the instructions to engineering soldiers programmed with absolute loyalty. Before the gestation process began, the Prime Minister saw to it that clones were made with greater compliancy and in a diminished sense of individuality. Kaminoan scientists tampered with Fett's DNA to ensure that the clones were primarily dominated by behavioral genes that emphasized certain qualities such as loyalty, aggression, independence, and discipline to guarantee that the clone army would be less independent than their template. Additionally, the Kaminoans increased the clones' lung capacity, decreased their reaction times, and improved their stamina. Specific allergies and Fett's mild astigmatism were also removed from the genome. Through all of the modifications, Lama Su was confident that the army as a whole would be completely subservient, capable of obeying any order without question. Cal Skriata, a former Mandalorian warrior who had been brought to Kamino to assist the training of some special units, agreed with the Kaminoans' motive behind modifying the troopers, saying an unaltered Jango Fett would not be the ideal infantry soldier. When the Kaminoans first began the cloning procedure, they had produced 12 prototypes and designed null-class advanced retcon commandos. Due to the extreme modifications in their physiology, only half of the test subjects survived the gestation process. However, the enhancements that were made to the Fett genome left their survivors disabled with erratic behavior and an inclination towards disobedience. Disappointed with the unsatisfactory results of their wayward creations, the Kaminoans deemed the 6 prototypes complete failures and intended to terminate them. Cal Sirata's intervention along with Fett's support prevented the clones from being liquidated. As a result, Sirata was charged with training the prototypes as an intelligence unit. Due to the Kaminoans' preference for isolations and Lama Su's limited understanding of the greater galaxy, the Prime Minister never considered the consequences that a new pan-galactic military force would have on the future. Instead, Lama Su saw the Jedi's proposal as a business opportunity with advantages for Kamino's economy. Due to the long-term commitment that was required in the creation of a clone army, Jango Fett took a hiatus from his bounty hunting career to monitor the growth and training of his clones. His influence over the clone army's development extended into several areas, such as the resemblance between his Mandalorian armor and their Phase 1 armor, and the training that molded the clones into elite soldiers. One of the most significant contributions to the project, however, was his personal oversight of the Alpha-class Advanced Retcon Commando, otherwise known as the ARC Trooper. The second-generation ARC units were the Kaminoans' response to the failure of the Null class. Unlike their precursors, the Alpha-class ARC Troopers were more reliable for their loyalty to the Republic and willingness to serve under Jedi officers. They were, however, superior and more creative in comparison to their rank-and-file clone troopers, due to their unaltered level of independence. Clones were grouped into birth cohorts of 32, and they trained, ate, and slept alongside their batchers. These birth cohorts became the platoons clone troopers would fight in, having trained with their comrades literally from birth. Though the technology capability to speed the acceleration of a clone's physical growth, the Kaminoans successfully engineered fully grown clones in half the time that real humans required to reach maturity. As a result of their genetic modification that enhanced their growth process, the clone troopers aged at twice the rate of human beings. At the age of 10, a clone was resembling a young Jango Fett in his early 20s, and was thus fit and prepared for combat. All clone troopers receive basic training and core military skills such as weapons handling, marksmanship, drill, and other essentials, while Jango Fett personally handled the training of Alpha-class ARC troopers, a specialized unit of clone commandos that was commissioned as a medium between the independent-minded ARC troopers and the more docile rank-and-file clone troopers. To ensure the overall success of this commando project, Fett formed the Kuval Dar, a group composed of experienced Mandalorian mercenaries and even a few journeyman protectors. Though individual members of the group had their own unique training methods, as a whole they separated the commandos into squads of 4, which in turn created a strong sense of brotherhood amongst the commando squads. Clones that were fit to serve leadership capacity possessed notable traits such as a higher degree of independence and creativity, as exhibited by commanders such as CC-2224, nicknamed Cody. As part of their education and physiological training, the clone troopers were required to adhere to Commander Code, a set of guidelines that governed the clone's behavior and every action. Hence, every clone was obliged to obey every aspect of the code without question, doubt, or hesitance. Overall, the Kaminoans took a deeply invested interest in training all of its creations, especially the standard clone units, and even the clone commandos as well. In 22 BBY, 10 years after the start of the Clone Trooper project, the Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi tracked Jango Fett in an investigation of the assassination attempts of Senator Padme Amidala to the remote world of Kamino in the Outer Rim territories. Much to his surprise, when he arrived in the capital, Topoga City, he was greeted with great anticipation from the Kaminoan cloners. Prime Minister Lama Su assumed that Kenobi had been sent by the Jedi Order to obtain a progress report on the Republic's clone army. Thus, he never realized that Kenobi was oblivious to the existence of the clones. Nevertheless, Kenobi inspected the clones for himself and learned from Lama Su that 200,000 units were prepared for deployment, another million were nearly combat ready as well. When Kenobi attempted to apprehend Jango Fett, the bounty hunter escaped to the separatist world of Geonosis. Kenobi pursued Fett only to be captured and held hostage by Count Dooku, the former Jedi Master who secretly became the Lord of the Sith, Darth Tyrannus. While the Jedi Anakin Skywalker and Senator Amidala from Naboo conducted their own attempt to rescue Kenobi, the Galactic Republic fell into crisis as the separatist movement that had been brewing in the galaxy for decades had evolved into an armed rebellion. As a response to the revelation of the separatist intention to secede through force, the Galactic Senate granted emergency powers to the executive branch of the government. With his new authority, Chancellor Palpatine accepted Kamino's clone army on behalf of the Senate, and thus the Grand Army of the Republic was officially formed. Shortly afterward, Jedi Master Mace Windu assembled the Jedi Task Force to liberate Kenobi. Grand Master Yoda traveled to Kamino to inspect the clone army for himself. By the time Yoda and a force of 192,000 clone troopers arrived in Geonosis, the Jedi had been locked in a battle with the separatist battle droids. Still, they were ultimately overwhelmed, suffering heavy casualties. The clones successfully extracted the survivors, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Padme Amidala, as the first battle of the Clone Wars commenced. Under the leadership of the Jedi, the clone troopers quickly forced the droid army into a full retreat. Although Count Dooku and the Separatist Council avoided capture, Geonosis ultimately fell to the Jedi and their clone forces. The Republic had secured the first victory of the war, and now the Clone Wars had begun, and the clones that were designed and put into production 10 years before, the same clones that were ordered by a Jedi that was easily manipulated by the Dark Lords of the Sith into creating the downfall of the Republic. These clones would now serve their true purpose: war. Thank you for watching. That was the clone army before the war, and I do want to mention the new intro. It's a little bit kind of static, so I'm going to try to fix out some of that a little bit, just so it's more smooth. And also a new channel logo that'll go across all accounts. And the week that this video is going to be going up, I'm going to be on vacation. It's rumored that the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer is going to come out that week, and if it does, I might make some kind of reaction. I don't know how well I'd be able to actually do it, but I'll try anyway, and it might go up, it might not. Also, this video took a lot of development time, so there might not be a second discussion video, but I'm still going to try to put it out. Anyway, like I said before, thank you for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Share the video around. Thank you for all the support on the last discussion video on Star Wars Squadrons. There was a lot of views coming in there really fast, so thanks for that. Yeah, but thank you for your time, And until the next video, may the Force be with you.